The NBA playoffs, man, they're just underway. The first 8 games, and the teams that had home court advantage have defended home court. And in this video, I'll just be looking at all the 8 games that happened and just give my insight on what I've seen, because a lot of things can happen moving forward because it's just the first game and teams are just trying to like get their rhythm and just trying to find their footing in like the whole series. So to start with, I'll start with Saturday's games. So we had the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Orlando Magic. So Donovan Mitchell, 30 points, 3 steals, three-pointers made. So this was the first game I watched, and coincidentally, there was a ball game going on there. It was Alali versus Alali. I really had to open like dual tabs so that I can watch both, but I just went back and just tried to watch it again just to see what really happened. And this was one of those series that potentially can even go 7 games, and both teams just look equal. They just look equal. I know Paulo Banchero has been balling out this season, and he's just been doing his thing. And not much to say on this one. I'm gonna just wait to see what happens tonight. So it's tonight that the game's gonna happen, because every day there's just always like a game happening. So on Monday, and some games will spill over on Tuesday, early Tuesday. So yeah, on this one, I just like the way the Cavs played and they defended home court. So this was actually one of those things that I really look at. Can the team that has the higher seeding just defend home court? Like, I know there have been situations where the team that has home court advantage loses, but in this playoffs is just quite different, and it was just fireworks all through. Then we had this game. This game was actually quite interesting. Going into this game, I felt like Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant had this, but considering the fact that Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert were just locked in, especially Anthony Edwards. This is a guy that is just a beast. I even saw him just staring daggers at KD. So at some point, I just felt they're just gonna lose this game. KD's starting off the game when I watched it at that time. I just felt like he was just trying to get in his sports, but his play style, his play style is more of an individualistic play style. And when you have a team-oriented team that is going to match up against KD, 9 times out of 10, he's going to lose that game. And we've seen it when he was in OKC. We've seen it when he was in Brooklyn. And now we're seeing it in the Phoenix Suns. So this was one of those games that were just so difficult to watch. I know KD, he dropped 31 points and 7 rebounds. But damn, like, it was just... Honestly, I just thought that the Phoenix Suns could at least do something, but they couldn't. And if things don't look so well, there's a high likelihood the Wolves can even go up 2-0 on these Suns. So yeah. Then we had this matchup, the New York Knicks versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Honestly, the Knicks have just looked good this season. They have looked good, and you can even see Josh Hart just dropping career highs. I mean, 22 points career high. This is actually a shock. I never thought that he had never scored. I thought this guy had already scored like at the 30-point mark. But having 22 points a career high, the rebounds. This one can be surprising. But this one, man, like to 22 points, did not see that coming. But could see Tyrese Maxey. Despite Tyrese Maxey's performance, still not good enough. And also Joel Embiid having an injury scare there, that was something that also has thrown a spanner to the works on the Sixers. They might even, there's a high likelihood that the Sixers can even drop even the second game. So I'm not putting my money on the Sixers. I don't think so. The team does not look the same. I know Joel Embiid is back, but he stayed so many weeks outside, so just putting him back in that roster, I'm not sure what you can get with his productivity there. So I feel like the Knicks can just go ahead and win. And the game that I was really looking at and I was looking forward to, the Lakers versus the Nuggets. I mean, I have so much things to say about the Lakers and Nuggets. I know the Nuggets swept the Lakers in the first round. Not in the first round, but in the West Finals. I don't want to say that. I don't want to jinx it. They're gonna get swept. We're gonna get swept, but I don't want to say the Lakers are gonna get swept. But all I'm just trying to say is the Lakers don't look as threatening. They don't look like that team that can make a Western Conference Finals push like what they did last season. That matchup against OKC would be something that will have happened, but the Lakers did not tank for that matchup because of the backlash they would have faced. Because dunking the defending champions, there's no need to do that, and they didn't want to look like they wanted to chase the lower seeded teams. Because I've seen a lot of people make videos talking about even clutch points. I saw them. They said, if the Lakers they drop the 7th seed to the Pelicans, then they can go match up with the Sacramento Kings for the 8th seed. And they have an easier matchup in OKC, which doesn't have like a lot of playoff experience. They can have a way to get to the second round, but that would mean if they were in that bracket, they will face the winner of the Dallas versus Clippers series. So the Dallas versus LA Clippers series. So man, it's so difficult. Then in this game, I just felt like the Lakers just looked so out of their depth. They dropped this game by 11 points. And even the last hitch was just trying to get back in the game. The 1-2 punch of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray is something that the Lakers have not yet figured it out. And I don't think they're going to be able to figure it out. And these guys, the Nuggets are defending champions. So winning is so difficult. Right now, it's just so difficult. So I'm just waiting to see what will happen in game 2. And just looking at these games, it was just fantastic to see the teams just defend home court. I know the Lakers losing this game, they have the likelihood to at least steal the game too, and at least just try to steal home court advantage. But it will depend on what Anthony Davis does, what LeBron James does. Because Anthony Davis, despite the poor performance, he had 32 points and 14 boards. So the man did not have like a poor game. But the 1-2 punch that Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray have, it's just so difficult for us to win a game. So yeah, so those are the games that happened on Saturday evening to Sunday. Then yesterday's game, honestly, this game was a snooze fest. Honestly, I stopped watching this Boston versus Miami Heat game in the second half, because at some point the Miami Heat just could not score anything. They could not get anything going. They got beat by 20 points there. At some point, the gap was so huge. There was like a 25-point lead that the Boston Celtics had. And the Miami Heat, I must say, just looked so different without Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was the heart and soul of this team. And without him, I don't think they have what it takes to get past Boston. And if Boston just plays their cards right, there's a high likelihood that they can even sweep the Miami Heat and just go to the second round. And more likely than not, they can go ahead and even sweep them. And it's something that should happen so that they can even be able to get past the Miami Heat and just get past like their long nemesis. I know they have met in the 2022-2023 East Finals, and the results have not been the best, especially last year. I know the year before in 2022, the Boston Celtics made the finals, but in 2023, it was very underwhelming to see how the Boston Celtics went down. Despite going down 0-3, they went ahead and forced a Game 7, but they laid an egg in Game 7. So if they can be able to sweep the Miami Heat, this is something that can really, really happen. In worst case scenario, this series can end in 5 games. Then we had this matchup. Unfortunately, we did not see Kawhi Leonard. There was a breaking news from Adrian Wojnarowski. Kawhi Leonard was sidelined from the game. I know he's been battling with a couple of injuries this season. So we expected James Harden and Paul George to lead this team, and they did. I had a lot of question marks going into this game because of James Harden's playoff chokery, and he's not been somebody that you can rely on in games. So the good thing is he was able to do something, and if he keeps on this productivity, there's a high likelihood that this series can even go to 5 or 6 games max. I'm not saying that it can't go all 7 games, but If the Clippers just keep playing with this consistency, there's a high likelihood that this series can even go 6 games, depending on if the Dallas Mavericks just make the adjustments that they need to make. I know Kyrie and Luka, they're in full health, and they have and the Mavs have enough help in their roster, especially with Gafford in there. So they just have to find a way to at least steal, at least steal home court. Then we had this matchup. So this matchup, I'm so happy to see Damian Lillard just have this night. He had 35 points, 6 rebounds, 6 threes, and also Chris Middleton with his performance. And one thing I've seen with this Milwaukee Bucks team, even without Giannis on the squad and the other players step up, there's a high chance that they win the games, because looking back at the 2021 East Finals, when Giannis in Game 4 went down with he hyperextended his knee, his right knee, when he was just trying to play defense. You could see the other guys just get involved in play, and that was the reason as to why they were able to get past the Atlanta Hawks at the time. So even without Giannis, you can still see this is a solid team. Hopefully Doc Rivers doesn't go up 3-1 and they blow it, because man, Doc Rivers being on the squad is a problem. And I feel like he shouldn't have that coaching job. But I feel like this team is just gonna bail him out, because Damian Lillard is there, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis. The Bucks have solid players. I don't think the Pacers have a shot at beating this team if they keep playing well. If they play well and play hard, and they're able to just go ahead and just grab the win, because every win counts in this situation. So there's that. And if Dame just keeps on trying, if he keeps on going there and just trying to make sure to get his teammates involved in just scoring, I mean, the Bucks can even end this in 5 to 6 games max. Then we had this game. This game was just down to the wire. It was just entertaining, and I consider it the most entertaining game of the evening, because we got to see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He is more than likely to win the MVP award if things just go his way. I know there are a couple of players there for the MVP award. We have seen Shai, we have seen also Jokic is there, but I feel like Jokic also is at that point where he can even win that MVP and grab that one. But Shai has had a very good season, and his 1 seed team, I know a lot of people are saying that this is a weak 1 seed, but they've won their first game. Hopefully they're able to just try to make sure to make it past the Pelicans, because if the Pelicans just beat them, it can just go down as one of those upsets, just like last year when we had the Miami Heat upsetting the Milwaukee Bucks with the first team. So yeah, Chet Holmgren, 15 points, 5 blocks. That's a very solid performance there. We had Jalen Williams, 19.7 rebounds. And yeah, and Shea just did his thing, and they won this game. It was so clutch, and it was determined at the line. And a couple of possessions down the stretch made the difference for OKC. So that's just a very brief roundup on what happened. And I'll just be monitoring these games like this and just give my commentary on them. And I'll try to make this a bit more frequent, because a lot of times I've seen a lot of playoff games, and when you've watched a lot of playoff games through the years, you get a sense of what is going to happen, and you're able to know what needs to happen and when it needs to happen. So the only response that we need to see is these teams that are yet to get a win, make things interesting, and just win the game. I'm expecting to see the Suns rebound and try to steal home court. I'm expecting the Lakers to at least try to fight back in Denver. And also looking at the Boston Celtics versus Miami Heat, the Boston Celtics are much more likely to go up 2-0 in this one. OKC, I'm not sure. This series can even go 7 games. This one can go 7 games. The Mavs versus Clippers, this one, there's a high likelihood that it can end in 6 or 7 games, depending on whether Kyrie and Luka are gonna turn up. Because if that duo turns up, they can push this thing to 7 games. Then we've got the Knicks and Sixers. The Sixers just do look different. Just look different with Joel Embiid not having a good performance. But anyway, man, it's just they're just too close to call right there. And I'm so happy you're seeing things just go, and things are just going on well for the teams that are defending home court. But I'm waiting for game twos. So we have games that are slated today. And also we've got BAL games later today. So I'm going to go ahead and just make videos talking about that. Also expect mobile content coming through your way. So if you guys like the video, make sure to leave your feedback down in the comments, and I'm out. Peace.